go ahead and start.
Alright, so this is going to be just a question and answer period with Shibbypod here. I'm going to be asking some questions about his experiences with Wave Race 64, and we're going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary on the 20th instead of the actual anniversary, which is on the
Yeah,
27th.
I know it's not the
Clear that up right away.
it's not the official anniversary, but maybe you can release your finished video on that day or
Alright,
something, you know?
It would drop you right away.
Oh no, okay, I just have to realize that I don't have the desktop app anymore, it's not working. So whenever I talk to you, I just have to have the Discord window selected. No big deal, I can work around that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah,
I was,
I was making sure.
I was saying, where I know that it's not actually today that's the 20-year anniversary, but
Yeah, but
a week
the
from
20,
today.
the 20th on for the 20th makes sense. So
Yeah,
anyway,
not bad.
are you ready to start?
Yeah, why don't we start? I'll keep messing with my stream while we're going, but yeah, go ahead and ask away, man.
Okay, so the first thing I'm really curious about, I think you've gone over a little bit of the past, but I want you to just recall some of the transition from the childhood interest into more of a competitive thing, and start with that.
Okay, yeah, so just when I was a kid, obviously N64 was a lot newer back then, and now it's just like what I do in my free time competitively, try to get better and all that good stuff, but mainly like when I was a kid, that's definitely where it all started. But I would just play totally for fun. There was nothing, there's like no goals. I wasn't trying to get like 103 or 104 on
Yeah.
Sunny Beach or anything like that. I
No,
was
you're just.
I was just having fun. And then like we fast forward to like I guess it was really college. Like me and my buddy would look up videos online of like, oh, I wonder how like what it looks like to do this level the fastest possible way. And this was in like 2011 and 2012. We would find videos of like these two guys that they were like way better than everyone else's times on their videos.
Can you remember their names or?
Oh yeah, definitely, because they're still considered like top 3 players today. So obviously I'm talking about Ilu and Hayate, and I would just watch their videos, and me and my buddy Keith, who has sometimes actually posted on speedrun.com, he's not like active and doesn't really play anymore, but I remember we were watching Ilu's videos, and they just looked perfect. Like they looked like task perfection at the time. Like I did not understand how everything could be so perfect. I'm kind of like talking about Drake Lake, and
Yeah.
the record back then was like 111.9. And so if you think about like how far that's come even now, like for reference,
That's
if
still so fast, actually.
yeah, that's still really fast. But in retrospect now, like I've beaten that really badly. I have 111.3, but I can still not say that I've had the world record on that particular level, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, in college it was just kind of like something to have fun with, and me and my roommate were just a little bit competitive with it. We actually had a whiteboard that we just had up in the kitchen, and it had like, oh, get these groceries, it's your week to like bring out the trash. And then like on the bottom of the board it'd be like, oh, by the way, I got Sunny Beach 105.6, like
Yeah.
beat that. You know, that would just be something that was on the board.
So, what time did you really get into Cyberscore? Stumble upon it.
Yeah, I found Cyberscore. Actually was directed to it by Ilu. Or actually, no, I think it was by Hayate. He just told me about it because he had a bunch of his times posted on that. And
Was that in 2013 or?
Yeah, I think so. Back at the time, it was. I'm trying to think exactly like the year. I guess if I open up CyberScore, I could probably see. I know that the website itself is notorious for being really slow.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of one of the reasons I moved away from CyberScore. Well, I had no way. There was like no rules. You could post like a world record time, and it could be unproven. And this was at the time, and they would just like if you had a picture, they would be like, okay, looks good. Like you didn't even need like video proof or anything. So, and I know because when I was a kid, I would use this stuff. There's easy ways to like spoof like an end time like
Well,
without a
without
video.
even a video or anything, it's just on the person's word. So
Yeah, and there's like turbo mode cheats with Game Shark
yeah,
and stuff, and if I do that, the time will actually save on my 64. So it's totally
yeah,
not legit. I say you need a video because, you know, not that if the video is not there, it didn't happen, because I play off stream too, you know, but it's just so much more legit if you can prove it.
yeah. I think we all need to play off stream a little bit too, just
There's
to
just
warm up. Sometimes I don't want to go in cold on a stream usually.
yeah, there's just as far as like playing off stream, there's just no pressure. It feels good to play off stream, but then you get a good run going off stream or off recording, and well, I don't, yeah, I don't recommend playing without recording because I've had situations where I'm on Twilight City on lap 3 and I'm like minus 0.2 of a second from my best time, and I'm just part of me is discouraged from even finishing the run because I know like I'm not gonna have the proof, you know. So why finish? Sometimes I don't like that feeling. I want to be able to finish every run if it's a good one.
Yeah. So, kind of expanding on Cyberscore a little bit more, what else was it that kind of drove you to move away from away to speedrun.com specifically?
I just kind of felt like that was really easy to use, and it has like individual levels and full game categories, so it really caters to both of like the main categories that we already kind of had going. So it's really easy to just kind of pick up. It puts everything in order for you. You got to enter my time, and it would be like, oh, you're entering a time for second place. Like you can approve it on your own if you're a mod, which was nice at first. Now that we have multiple mods, I'm glad that we don't approve our own times. But back when I was like the only one submitting and the only one who cared, I kind of needed to be able to approve my own times. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But it's been going well on speedrun. I guess the only limitations that we have found have come up as late as today, I guess, with it's all about time on speedrun, and they don't have really any points system yet.
Yeah.
So we might have to wait that out. We'll kind of see. I'm not opposed to
we'll
adding stunt mode.
Yeah, I think we just have to wait and see a little bit, see what the people in the community think about it. But to move things along, I want you to talk about your connection to theelite.net and just a brief mention of your GoldenEye speedrunning.
Yeah, GoldenEye. So I was introduced to the Elite because, well, Ilu is like one of the top wave race and GoldenEye players. So he was really big on that scene.
Guy's insane.
Yeah, and I know that some of the people who watch me play Wave Race, they also watch GoldenEye or they play GoldenEye themselves.
Yeah.
And if you've ever played that, oh my god, it's ridiculously hard, and you just have to give those guys credit. Like
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'm one of those players, but like just the times that I can get and the times that I have gotten so far, I I've reached some world record times, and I understand the amount of effort that it takes, and the ones that I've gotten are considered the easier ones in the game. So it gets even harder than what I've already done. It's kind of a daunting thought, like, oh god, I've already spent so much effort on that. So,
There was
props
a
to them.
was there like a Wave Race 64 thing on the Elite, or is there still?
Yeah, we have a forum on there that has only been on there for like probably a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Um, but it was on there. Actually, it kind of got Lockwood into playing too,
Well, that
because
that transitions very nicely into
yeah,
my next
because
question about Ryan Lockwood. I want to know a little bit more about that man.
so Ryan Lockwood, everybody knows him from the Streets 112 video, so we'll just get that out into the open right away. Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
the Streets 112 guy, and he was kind of a new player back in like 2014, late 2014, maybe early 2015, and he was just playing on Sunny Beach, and he doesn't really play a lot of different levels, but he definitely, I mean, if you look at his timesheet, you'd be a fool
Yeah.
not to consider him like top four, because he just puts out great times. He's a grinder, kind of like myself. Like he'll sit and play a level until he's satisfied with the time, and it doesn't really matter if it will take him like hundreds of hours. Like he probably spent, you know, I'm just estimating, but probably like between 100 and 150 hours into Sunny Beach, and got that world record from me actually. So
Yeah.
that was pretty significant, because actually that was the first time that anyone other than Ilu or Hayate beat any of my times on the whole spreadsheet. That was the only time, still actually to this date, that anyone other than those two guys beat any of my times so far.
So how was like the come up with, like, you got these two players that are above you and they both have like knowledge and experience, and wisdom, and how, like, but obviously you'd be restricted in how much you'd be contacting them, but
Yeah.
how,
Um,
how long did it take you to transition from a new player into the scene, from in the scene, to
yeah.
challenging records?
Well, at first I always felt like that annoying kid who was just always asking questions and always like, "Do you have a video?" I remember asking Ilu, "Do you have a video for this time? You have this posted, but I can't find your video." And he like just sent me a
Yeah.
link to it or something. So I was always like looking for the video, not because I wanted them to prove it or anything, but I just wanted to see it because I wanted to see how they did it. Um,
Yeah.
Watching videos was like the most important thing for me to get good. And then, to be honest, the second most important thing was like getting Shindu and seeing the dolphin and seeing exactly where I'm losing time,
Yeah.
and what saves time. That helped me get
That's a
really good
big
at time
deal.
trial.
And
Yeah.
it's really cheap. Like the cheapest one I found on eBay, I literally clicked like the lowest price, and the cheapest one, first one, was Shindo. It was like $7.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But it took me a while, like when I was playing in college in like 2011 and 2012, and that's kind of when I was starting to like ask those guys a bunch of questions. And I remember, like, especially at first, there was a really bad language barrier between me and Hayate.
Yeah.
It was like impossible to communicate, really. Like, I remember asking him specifically on uh, like in a Twitch chat, how do you hold your controller? Just a pretty simple question, how do you
Yeah.
hold your controller? And his response was A. And I was like, um, not really sure that answers the question, but I'll take it. Like, it made sense because actually that lets me know pretty much how he's holding his controller, because there's only really
Yeah.
one good way to hold your controller. If you're throttling with A, then your whole left hand is probably wrapped around the banana, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But I would always ask Hayate questions, and he would. I believe what he was doing was using like Google Translate to figure out what I was asking, and then he would type his answer back into Google Translate from his native language, which I believe is Japanese, and then I would get the response. So it's like double translated. So I would ask him like, "What course would I take on Glacier Coast?" And he's like, "In Glacier Coast, best course often equals same as overside." Like it's just jumbled, but you kind of get from it. Like,
Yeah, you kind of get a little bit of an idea from it.
but when I first started beating them, I think that I don't know, just like any like it'll probably happen when people start beating me pretty consistently. Like they were kind of like, okay, you beat me on this, but I still have all these times kind of feeling, you know, like they're it's gonna take you a while to pass me.
Still have 64 times something.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So when you're picking up the game, ask questions, watch videos. The thing about videos too is you can't just watch the video, enjoy the video, and then never watch it again.
You should enjoy the video, but then you gotta watch it again.
Yeah, it's hard to enjoy. It's hard to enjoy when what you have to do is watch like the same video like 100 times and watch the like pixel detail. Like you have to.
I haven't gotten to that level of commitment yet.
Well, and
Know
playing.
where I'm going.
It's another thing too.
That's good.
Yeah.
If I want to improve. Yeah, I am guilty of enjoying them, I guess. Is what I'm saying. So you set up the speedrun.com leaderboards, is that correct?
Yeah, I set them up initially, and I like started importing all of my times and a lot of the times that were there. And then like part of the way through while I was importing all these times, I got this full-time job, and I came to like a dead halt with Wave Race for a little while. I was still trying to play, but I still play now. I've kind of forced myself back into it because we do have quite a few new players who a year ago were nowhere to be found.
That's what keeps me coming back to Smash 64 with all the new people and trying to support them. And anyway,
yeah, like
same thing with Flameverse.
Like I said in the Discord chat today, like you guys are a big reason why I still play today. Like without you guys, I probably wouldn't have the motivation to keep going because Ilu is not currently playing. Hayate hasn't posted a PB in like 6 months. Lockwood in almost a year now. Oh, by the way, you were kind of asking about the day that Lockwood beat the time on Sunny Beach, and I did bring that up. That's November 6th last year. 2015.
Yeah.
So coming up pretty soon. He hasn't really played much since. He's played a little bit of Drake Lake. But yeah, not much.
So it's been mostly like this year that, or at the beginning of this year at least, that you started getting a couple more people, or?
Yeah, this year's been pretty good for getting like a few new players. Last year we got Lockwood. I would say like in 2012 Ilu was like the considered the champ back then, and then 2013 Hayate was new, and he came and took like every world record. He actually had all of them at the same time when I first started. And then and then I came in like 2012, 2013, and I got my first record in 2014, yeah. And by the end of or by like April in 2014, I had like well over half of the records. So I think that's pretty much what cements like being the champ is owning a significantly higher amount of world records than like the previous champion or like just the majority.
Yeah, just the majority. Yeah.
But Wave Race is kind of a strange case too because you have levels that I would say definitely way more, like they have more weight to them than other levels. So like if for example, if you have half the world records in the game, but all like you have all 8 reverse records and then 4 of like the weaker lap records, but you have half the records in the game. Well,
Yeah.
none of those records are on the more optimized like forward category. So is that like really enough?
Yeah, it's like I have like second place time. One, I think, second place time, but it's on a level that nobody plays. So, like, there's always like, you wouldn't put me above somebody who got even like 8th or 9th on Sunny Beach, I think.
Well, I think, you know, if you really want to be considered the champ, if you really want to be like a strong competitor for even just like top 3, I would recommend like fill out the whole spreadsheet, like report a time on every level,
Yeah.
and just make sure that the hard levels, or like the really the renowned levels, and I would say like the most renowned levels in the whole game, and not in this order, but like the top 4 levels are definitely like Sunny Beach, Drake Lake, Glacier Coast, and then you know what, the even the 4th one might be up for grabs. I tend to think it's Southern Island because it's one of the levels that is like a little bit easier for new players to play. But like if
I
you
think
can
that'd be a
get
good,
those
good
times,
thing for just anyone just coming in, just wanting to try
Yeah.
out Wave Race 64 would be just even pick just you're gonna do all the forward 3 laps and just submit one with all the reverse 3 laps or whatever you want to do. I think having that varied knowledge is something that just catapults you into a higher level because you learn how to deal
Yeah.
with different obstacles.
And I see a lot of newer players like jump right into RTA time too, like just running into championship mode, and that's cool. I'm glad to see the enthusiasm. But trust me, if you really want to see your RTA times get better, like time trial, time trial, time trial, like learn those levels down to a T individually, and then I know the levels are slightly different on championship mode than they are on time trial, but once you
Are they
acquire,
on like normal
yeah,
difficulty?
the main reason that they're different is because on time trial, like you hit reset and it just starts right away, like 3, 2, 1, go. So the level's loaded
Yeah.
for like 3 seconds and then you play. But think about every level in championship mode. You see like the camera swing around all the characters and it's like, are you ready? 3, 2, 1. So you have like 7 seconds of the level being loaded before you start, and that affects where all of the rolling waves that are based on the
Yeah.
clock are located
Rather
when you get to
than
them.
nothing, you're just resetting on time trial mode. That makes a lot of sense.
But the same goes, like if once you know the level well enough, being at a different part of the wave cycle in championship mode is no big deal. Like you'll be able to get through every stage so much easier once you've put like, and it sounds like a lot of time, but once you put like 10 hours into time trial on every level, that's like 80 hours. It's not too bad. But once you do that, you'll improve your RTA times by like 30 seconds or greater. It'll probably be a pretty big improvement, you know.
Yeah, that's actually like exactly what happened with me a couple weeks ago. I did championship hard and got I got like 12:48 down to 1:57 just because I've been playing time trial instead of RTA.
Yeah,
It just teaches you so much more, and it's so much more interesting, honestly. as
Yeah.
a new player because there's so many things to learn.
And I would never discourage someone from playing championship mode, but it's really hard to do when you don't know like just what generally to do on the stages. Like you're just putting yourself in a kind of a rough spot. You're making yourself improvise, you know?
I was just gonna ask if there was anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap this up, because I think we've covered all of the things I wanted out of you, and it's uh, I've got some good
Yeah.
answers, so I'm happy.
I would just say, don't be scared to start this game, although if you do want to commit to being a top player, it does take a lot of time, but it's all well worth it. Like it pays off. Like it feels so good to get a like for the first time when you get a benchmark time, for example. Like anytime you reach that time that's kind of considered the standard good time in wave race, that's a great feeling. It definitely pays off.
I was playing a little bit to warm up for the race today, and I had a break where I was doing clean lines towards things, and actually being able to mash like efficiently and not be turning all the time, and it was just feeling really good.
Yeah,
I think
that's awesome.
I think well, I'm excited to play it some more, and I'm actually really excited to see what the wave race community is going to look like in 2017.
Yeah, me too. I'll just add a couple other things. Like we've had some streamed events in the past. Like we used to do a couple of races. Like me, Hayate, and Ilu would just get on at the same time, and we'd be like, okay, we're playing for an hour. Each one of us is going to pick a stage, and we're going to spend 20 minutes on each stage, and the best time on each stage wins. And that's just time trial. So you have 20 minutes on each level to complete your best time, and we would just kind of call those time trial exhibitions, and then we would do some races and stuff like that as well. But
I think
I remember
those would be good events, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that Ilu went to this like marathon, this live marathon over in Sweden, and he told me that he was playing at it like like the night before. Like I didn't have much preparation, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna wake up early because he's playing at like 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. It was like the afternoon for him, but I had to like wake up super early. I was at my now fiance's house and just woke up super early, had a cup of coffee, and like watched his run like super early in the morning. And another thing about that stream is that after his run, he played Drake Lake for like an hour, and he got a new world record on Drake Lake back at the.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That was amazing.
Like, geez, that consistency.
The reactions were great.
Yeah, I got a 5150 on SRX Fall this past weekend. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that
was an excellent run. Great job.
That's going to probably stand as like the best marathon 100% for quite a while.
It would be hard to see you beating it in the next like 4 or 5 months, I'd say.
Oh man, I can beat it on a regular stream,
but like to actually beat it on at least a like reasonably sized speedrun marathon.
Yeah, that's like
you'd be very lucky.
Yeah, that's like a one-shot deal. You cannot retry. You just go with it. So getting a 5150.
It was just great.
I know. I can't wait to watch it again. It hasn't been uploaded yet, so I'll let you guys know when it is, though. But yeah, man, thanks for sitting down and interviewing for like an hour or almost an hour anyway. And good race. I know that. I kind of watched the end of your race and that crash on Southern Island. I was like, oh man. I was sad for you. Yeah, I actually missed a buoy on Southern Island too, and I was like, oh man. So then when I was watching yours, I was like, well, I guess I don't feel bad for a miss. Like it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad you were watching when I was on Drake Lake.
Yeah. Oh, Drake Lake didn't go too well then.
Second lap wasn't so smooth.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you have a good rest of your night, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for
I
talking.
enjoyed talking to you, and have a good night.
You too.
Thanks for joining me.